everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Talking with Our Traders, a Caesar Sportsbook original series. This is where we sit down with our very own Caesar Sportsbook traders to dive deep into everything NFL and college football. Whether you're looking for insider insights or just want to hear what the pros have to say, you've come to the right place. Let's get into it. I'm your host, Cindy Edwards, and with me today, as always, is Craig Mucklow, Vice President of Trading here at Caesar Sportsbook.
Hello there.
And Joey Fiesel, Head of Football here at Caesars.
Hello.
Okay, guys, let's dive into some college football. Joey, will Indiana make the college football playoffs?
I believe they will. There's two teams in this kind of playoff race that our sharper customers don't like and refuse to believe in. That's BYU and Indiana. We see every week in and week out, the line go against them, meaning our sharper customers are on the other side, but all they do is cover and win. All Signetti does is win and win by big margins. They're covering machines, and they do not quit when they're ahead. For that reason, they're not going to quit making it to the end of the season. They will make the playoff.
I like it. Craig, do you agree?
Even money on the sportsbook right now? Probably don't agree that way. I feel like they'd need to run the table, and they've got Ohio State, on November the 23rd. Depending on how Ohio State do this weekend against Penn State, it might be a different game.
Yeah.
Right. All right, we will see. Let's get into some Heisman race. Dylan Gabriel is now tied as favorite to win with Travis Hunter. Joey, break it down for us.
Yeah, we're getting close to that Heisman spin zone, but we're not there yet. But we have a couple contenders that aren't quarterbacks, which is kind of refreshing to see. Again, Travis Hunter, Dylan Gabriel, your top two selections. You have Dylan Gabriel, best quarterback on the best team. So it's really Oregon has put themselves in a position just to be that Georgia as we get to this November month. And then Travis Hunter, he got injured that 1 week, came back. Still, he just is an amazing athlete, well deserved. We don't want to see Travis Hunter win, but
bad liability there.
Yeah, Colorado again. They still had their faithful come in. Not as much as last year, and they're playing well. Like, just as a team, too. They're winning games. They might have a shot to get to the Big 12 title game. So if they're still a contender, he's still a contender. Then following that, you have Cam Ward, Miami. Fun guy. Very, he has, if anybody's had Heisman moments, it's been Cam Ward. A lot of games where they probably should have lost, they find a way to win. Ashton Genty came to Las Vegas, and that used UNLV defense just focused in on him and did not let him get anything. And he looked like he was a little banged up towards the end, so he drops to 5-1. One that I think is just off the radar, and that's your fifth selection, Cade Klubnik for Clemson. I think Clemson's sneakily very good, sneakily going to win the ACC, I think. And I think he has a chance to kind of make that bigger move to the end of November to kind of steal that Heisman Trophy. So, yeah, fun market. This one is this year, it's not just all quarterbacks, which I think just adds to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the month. I'm sure these odds are going to go way up and down as we go to later.
Yeah, you said it best. The spin zone is coming.
The spin zone, I like that. Which group of 5 team is most likely to get the final college football playoff spot?
It's going to be Boise State, likely. They're the highest ranked. The remaining schedule is not very difficult for them. They'll have the one loss to Oregon. I think outside of that, it's Army. Army, we saw Navy get beat by Notre Dame. Army's got Notre Dame next. If they're able to win that game, then it's going to be a real contention between Boise and Army as we get to the end of the season. But I think it's really Boise at this point. I think they've done enough. Again, very close loss to Oregon, who is very clear number one right now. So it kind of makes sense to me that Boise's going to win the rest of the games, get in the playoff, and compete.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
You guys agree?
For once.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Boise did the job on Friday.
Yeah.
Right.
They did what they had to do.
Yeah.
Notre Dame showed the gulf between the service academies and what a proper college football team do. And they'll do it again. It's Army this week, isn't it? Or next week?
Yeah, next week. Yeah.
Right. All right, Craig, which college football team is on upset alert this weekend?
Did we get one right again last week?
You're killing it.
I know, but I can't do anything else right.
You just need to start picking upsets as your weekly picks.
Yeah. Guess what I did this week?
All right.
Okay, so we're back in the winner's enclosure with Houston last week as a 4-point dog, winning straight up, 7-3 on the year. I almost took Penn State and Ohio State.
Ooh.
but then the quarterback issues.
Yeah.
So we are going to go with a team that did it twice already for me this year, and you know the team. Syracuse.
The best team of all, with the best alumni.
With the best alumni, yes.
They were scary.
We're going to go Syracuse over Virginia Tech as the upset alert this week. They're already 2-0 for me this year, so let's.
You just got to make sure McCord doesn't throw that many interceptions.
Yeah.
I wasn't on them last week. That's why.
Thank God.
But that made for great Twitter, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. Joey?
I think Nebraska's on upset alert this week against UCLA. I think UCLA has been building upon just kind of being a bad team going into the first year of the Big Ten. Nebraska had the letdown spot against Ohio State. So give me UCLA to beat Nebraska.
I like it. Favorite Week 10 game for the total to go under?
Shameless plagiarism here. So we've got a couple of guys that sit in the background, do a lot of work for us. They absolutely love Georgia Southern and South Alabama to go over. So we're taking that as the under.
Fading.
Ooh,
Fading.
I got Kentucky, Tennessee under 45.5. Should be a very boring game. Kentucky really just focuses on running the ball. They'll punt on the opposing 30 if given the chance. Tennessee is a very sneakily good defense. And again, Nico Iamaleava at quarterback. I think this Kentucky defense is going to be too much for him, so give me that under 45.5.
I like it. Favorite Week 10 game for the total to go over?
Again, shameless plagiarism. I asked the boys, what's your favorite over? And they're under. So their favorite under is Houston and Kansas State. So we're taking that as the over.
Fading again. I like the strategy
Double
here.
fade. I like it.
Double fade. Put him in his place.
Yeah.
Joey?
Pitt, SMU, the Nard Dog, Narduzzi, SMU. These are two very high-powered offense. Give me over 58.5 in that one.
I like it. All right, let's get into a game preview. Number 3, Penn State welcomes number 4, Ohio State on Saturday. Ohio State's favored. QB questions. Joey, break it down for us.
Yeah, the QB questions is really a big part of this game. It's leaning more towards the Penn State side, which tells me that the market is confident that he might go.
Right.
Still waiting on that confirmation, though. But the second half of the last game, the backup, don't even know his name, for Penn State, played well, was able to run the ball more than Allercan. So it should be a very good game. Ohio State, backs against the wall. I favor Ohio State a little bit higher than the market going into this game. So I like Ohio State to get this one done.
Ooh, Craig?
This was my second on the list of upset of the week.
Yeah,
but obviously
right.
Given
You said you were
given
real
the quarterback
close.
issues, the weird press conferences, there seems to be something going on in Penn State. Then you go look at the form guide. Penn haven't beaten anybody. Not anybody of substance.
Right.
Contrary to Joey, we're saying the market's pushing towards Penn State. The total's going lower. So we opened 47, now it's down to 45.
Yep.
There's no weather in the game, which that contradicts Joey's thought of the quarterback, because I think maybe the quarterback might not be playing, or you either take the one side and take the total.
Yeah, it is interesting to see that movement. Yeah. You know, you'd think it'd be the opposite.
Yeah,
Right.
And Ohio State can't afford to lose another game. I mean, they lost to Oregon, and they kind of
Very
threw that
close
game
one.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. All right, we will see. Okay, let's get into some NFL. We are midway through the season, so let's award some betting markets as if the season ended today. We're going to call these the mid-year awards. I'm going to give you an award category, and you're going to give me your winners. So you guys ready?
Ready.
MVP.
Jared Goff.
Ooh.
I had Jared Goff as well, but I also have, if you go to a restaurant and the front of house staff won't let you into the restaurant and they loan you a set of pants to get in, that's an MVP.
That's a funny little inside joke.
But it is Jared Goff.
Offensive player of the year.
Oh, it's easy.
And Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
All right. Defensive player of the year.
Easy again.
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
Of course. Offensive rookie of the year.
Easy.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
I should get you to say these
How
at the same
crazy
time.
was that Hail Mary?
Oh my God,
Oh.
amazing. I was watching that game. That was unbelievable.
Did you see the video of the Bears cornerback giving it to the
like
Washington
dancing
fans?
on
Dancing
the,
and
yeah,
playing.
not paying attention.
That's
That's
karma.
he was the
Bad
one that
look.
tipped it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, embarrassing. He went out on Twitter and said, his apologies. But
Yeah, right.
no coming back from that. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Jared Verse.
Jared Verse, yeah.
Ooh,
It
he's a favorite, right?
He's the favorite. He's really keeping this Rams team in. I think we'll get into this later about the Rams, but they're really, they had the really tough first part of their schedule dealing with injuries. Now they're starting to get everybody back.
Yeah.
This team might be scary down the line.
And we called the Rams in the football meeting last Thursday.
Yep.
We were really confident.
Yeah,
They were.
Puka looked good. Super Bowl winner.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Detroit Lions.
So we have a change up from Joey. Craig is staying with Philadelphia from the beginning of the season.
Hey, when you're wrong, keep digging.
They do have an easy schedule coming up here, do they not? The Eagles?
They've got some divisional games.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
some. Yeah.
I mean-
Commanders are right there.
Commanders are. Most surprising team, speaking of.
Commanders.
Washington Commanders.
Yeah, of course. Most overrated team.
It's the Jets and the Dolphins.
yeah.
Oh my God.
The Jets, I don't even think are good. So we weren't
Yeah,
even
do we even rate? We never rated the Jets. You never rated the Jets.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Green Bay Packers are the most overrated
Really?
team to me. At least week in, week out, at least the line movement going in their side every week. I think they're not, as good as the market thinks they are.
Right.
After what I saw Sunday, Dolphins.
And I'm, of course, going to go with the Chiefs. Easy.
Overrated, and they're 7-0.
I think because they're 7-0, they're
Two-time
overrated.
champions.
They
Two-time
don't
champions
seem
and
like
7-0.
They don't seem like a team that should be undefeated. So I think they're overrated.
But remember, we said this last year. Halfway through the year, we were dogging on the Chiefs, and we all had to eat humble pie at the end of the season.
Yeah.
We did.
Most surprising player.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I agree.
I have Jaden Daniels, but I also have Russell Wilson. I'm not a fan of old quarterbacks, bar Joe Flacco. What I saw Sunday, okay, he beat the Giants. The week before against the Jets was more impressive first time out. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably because I wasn't a fan, and I wasn't a fan of Jaden Daniels coming out of college and how he won the Heisman. So that did surprise me.
Yeah.
Tomlin with the Steelers. I mean, I thought how are you benching Fields? It was a brilliant move. That
Yeah.
team
I'm
looks
never,
like
ever
it's-
going to question
that
Mike
guy.
Tomlin ever again.
They know. Most overrated player.
I've got a few.
Aaron Rodgers for me.
I
yeah.
already had that
Oh,
at
yeah.
the start of the year, so that doesn't count. Of the top 5 paid quarterbacks this year, 4 of them,
Yeah.
4 of the top 5. Prescott has 3 wins. Burrow has 3 wins. Lawrence has 2 wins. Tua has 1 win. That's $24 million per win. Or $223 million in salaries for 4 losing records.
Yeah.
So
it's
there you go.
bad.
There's your 4.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And there was always a thing. It was a fantasy football angle where if you got a player that got paid in the off season, you didn't want to draft them too much because
Yeah.
the weight of the wallet is too much.
So do you guys still think that Aaron Rodgers' legacy will not be affected by his performance?
He's not helping himself.
Yeah, he's not helping himself. But I think, this is like was Brett Favre's legacy. I guess he played better in the kind of, but we remember the Packers Brett Favre. We're going to remember the Aaron Rodgers Packers.
Right.
Yeah, he's not wearing a Jets jersey when he goes to Canton.
No.
I think he's going to Canton.
Well, that was fun. We will see where we end up.
It's boring because we agreed on everything.
Not surprisingly, but love to see it. What team needs to make a trade?
The Washington Commanders need to address the secondary because I think they can actually make a move, be a contender. I don't know. Are they going to win the Super Bowl? Probably not.
No.
But make a drive. They can win that division.
Yeah.
If they keep going, and I think they just really need to address some pieces on the defense in order to get to that spot. So Commanders should make a trade.
I like it.
I had the Texans only because of the injuries at wide receiver.
Right.
They didn't look great against Indianapolis, but they did the job.
They got
Right.
I just feel like there's a hot wide receiver market right now. You've got to get one. You've got to get somebody for C.J. Stroud.
Yeah. What team needs to sell at the deadline?
That's the Cowboys.
The Browns. I think the Browns don't want to win games, and you got Jameis in there. He's gonna win you games. So
Yeah,
I think
Which he
the
did.
Browns need to
Yeah.
they need to get rid of those pieces so they can keep tanking.
He's out there quoting Eminem.
Yes, he's so great.
I picked the Cowboys because they have assets. They will have a new coach next year because this is McCarthy's last year of his
Right.
contract.
Yeah.
They're not. He's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah.
You can new strategy, new coach, gather picks, rebuild the team, move on. But again, you've just paid Prescott in the offseason.
Yeah.
Very true. Favorite Week 9 game for the total to go under?
The biggest difference on my numbers this week is the Dolphins-Bills under 50. the Dolphins can't score. The only danger of this going over is if the Bills put 50 on the Dolphins, which has been done in the last few years.
I got the Chiefs-Bucks to go under 45.5 on Monday night.
I see that.
Yeah. I just think again,
there's
the strength of this team is the defense for the Chiefs.
For sure.
And, the Bucks, offensive injury galore. So, give me that game to go under.
Is Mike Evans still out?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
They were talking, but I think he's still out.
Favorite Week 9 game for the total to go over?
I'm going the opposite. I'm going Bills-Dolphins over 49.5. I think we talked last week about, that game. The total didn't make sense for the Dolphins game. I think they still got some pieces on this offense. I'm not selling. Give me the over in that game. I think it's going to be closer than people think.
Seems
Craig.
terrible. The biggest difference in my numbers this week is the Saints-Panthers over 43.5 divisional matchup, and it's been Joey's angle all year in that division.
Yep.
Right. I like it. Pick an NFL upset in Week 9.
Joe Flacco against the
Oh, yeah.
Vikings. Give me the Colts.
I like that.
I love that, but I'm not picking it. Home teams between 7.5 and 9.5 points this year are 1-7 against the spread, 2-6 straight up. The biggest number on the board is the Chiefs on Monday night, 9
course.
points. Give me the Bucks.
There you go.
Even money shots for losers.
All right, let's get into building your 3-leg anytime touchdown score parlay. Craig builds one, Joey builds one. We see if one cashes. Ever. Craig, start us off.
We're going all quarterbacks this week.
All quarterbacks.
Yeah. Josh Allen owns the Dolphins. Josh Allen, tick. That's in. That's guaranteed. Lamar Jackson, because he's due. And Jalen Hurts, because of prime time.
I love that. We got the QB parlay. Now let's see what you got, Joey.
We're going opposite Craig. We're going the same game. Bills, Dolphins for all three of my picks. I got Devon Achane, Josh Allen, Tyreek Hill. Book it.
Somebody has to throw the ball to Tyreek Hill. You know that.
maybe he runs it. Maybe they run a little jet
catching
sweep.
fumbles.
Yeah.
No, I like it. If you like any of these, you can tell them on the Caesar Sportsbook app. Are you guys ready for an overreaction or not?
Always.
Always. The Jets should trade Aaron Rodgers and start the rebuild.
Can we stop asking questions about the Jets?
Never.
I mean, it's an overreaction. Should is one thing, but is anybody going to pay for
Want
Aaron
him?
Rodgers? The answer is no chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's gonna want him.
Too much baggage.
The team's already built.
Yeah.
Like this,
Yeah.
this is
This
the
was the
final
team.
product.
Yeah,
Like this is the so. There's no rebuilding when you already have the pieces. So yeah, no one's gonna want Aaron. I mean, there'll probably be some teams that want Aaron, but he just brings a lot of baggage that you don't want.
He sure does. Overreaction or not, the Rams will make the playoffs.
Not an overreaction. I think they're gonna. I'm usually not positive on the Rams, but obviously that Thursday was a really big win for them.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna start getting healthy. Stafford's looking good. Yeah, I think they're gonna make the playoffs.
I think there was a lot of factors at play heading into that game. So it wasn't just because the Rams were brilliant, because I saw the Vikings' first two drives. They just went up and down the field and scored.
Yeah.
And the Rams just hung around until it mattered. It's a huge overreaction. On my numbers, I have them forecast as 7 wins. You've got them 7.5 on the website.
Yeah.
7.5 doesn't get you the playoffs. So the answer is no.
There's no for Craig. All right.
Start
Hey.
working on the draft pick, Joe.
You could still dream.
You might want Craig to fade you. I don't know, Joey. Overreaction or not, Russell Wilson makes the Steelers Super Bowl contenders.
Overreaction.
Okay.
Overreaction for 2 reasons. TJ Watt and Mike Tomlin, right?
They make
They
They-
make
yeah,
Okay.
That's exactly what I had.
I was
to-
wondering where this was going.
But then look at who they've beat. Like, the best team that they've beat this year is 30-1 in the Super Bowl bets. They haven't beaten anybody. I mean, they played the Jets and the Giants and looked great both times.
Right.
Dallas beat them, Jets and Giants, back-to-back weeks last year and looked great, and then fell off the cliff. It doesn't scream tremendous form figures, so no. But they'll compete.
Definitely Russell adds value to the Steelers team. But yeah, no, if anybody makes him, it's Tomlin and TJ Watt. TJ Watt especially.
He basically
Right.
won the game then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Overreaction or not, Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFC.
Overreaction.
Massive.
Jared Goff, Stafford.
Yeah, start naming them.
Hurts, Goff, Love, Cousins, Mayfield, Stafford.
All right.
Yeah. There you go. I can't disagree with that.
And he's one lucky play away from Caleb Williams being a better quarterback.
Yeah, but that was one hell of a play.
Or was that bad defense?
Yeah.
It's bad defense,
Yeah.
I mean, you let the quarterback run. He ran like 40 yards.
Yeah, he went all the way to the right, all the way back to the left. Yeah.
Because the commentators were talking about bringing in who's the backup, Mariota, because he's got the stronger arm.
Yeah, right.
And you usually don't get those NFL. You get some college finishes like that, but not NFL. So it was definitely electric to see that.
And we had a price on the Commanders right before that play, and a load of people bet, like 25, 30 people bet the 25 to 1 on the Commanders to win the game.
I love that for them.
Congrats. Like, they saw something I didn't.
Overreaction or not, tight ends are back.
Overreaction.
Yeah, overreaction.
Yeah. Look, the start of the year, you see teams, and like you see the Derrick Henrys of the world, they start scoring, etc., and the wide receivers.
Yeah.
And then what happens is the defensive pick up on the talent, and they lock out the talent, and then it's who's next up. An angle I used to love betting was backup tight ends, because you're looking at the primary tight end, the defense focuses. That's why I backed Isaiah Likely week 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, okay, what's the next offensive move that we can do, because the defense is now caught up on, let's stop Derrick Henry, let's stop Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I agree. And last weekend was fun, and I'm kicking myself for not having the national tight end touchdown. But yeah, I don't think they're back. I think it's a wide receiver game.
All right, overreaction or not, Flacco makes the Colts contenders.
Defense is for real. I would say not an overreaction. Flacco makes anyone a contender. He got the Browns to the playoffs last year.
Yep.
He will now get a chance. I think Richardson's hurt himself by what he did. Flacco will win some games. He'll keep them there. They're not far out of the division. They're 4-4, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll compete. And the defense has played really, really well. So, yeah, he makes them a contender.
Yeah, Joe Flacco, I mean, again, is this the right move? Richardson's had 10 starts. Where's this coming from? I guess it's Richardson doesn't help himself when he benches himself last week.
Yeah.
But, you can't do that.
With only 10 starts, it's just, this is the Colts saying to me, we need to win right now as opposed to build on our future. So,
Right. Okay, Craig, any games on Weather Watch this weekend?
Just a handful. So wet and windy. It'll be Kansas State and Houston, even though I took the over. Navy and Rice. And then in the NFL, it will be pretty wet. Detroit and Green Bay, which might be an equalizer on that. I think Detroit's got the better running game.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into some game previews. Let's start off with Thursday Night Football, Jets-Texans. The Jets have lost 5 games in a row, and the Texans just lost Stephon Diggs to an ACL tear. Guys, the question everyone's asking, including our friend David Purdom at ESPN, why are the Jets favorites?
I think it's more to do with the Jets absolutely have to win this game. Also home field advantage because it's only a 2-point spread, and Houston are looking at injuries. That's the only reason. Houston are the better team, but this is absolute make or break for the Jets, and that's why the number is that.
Yeah. It's a desperation favorite.
And to go back,
and it's only 2 points, so it's not really.
It's not a huge favorite. But, should the Jets rebuild? These are the Jets. This is the built-up Jets. They still have so much talent on this team. Can they figure it out? And again, I think it's more of a negative on the Texans side, especially who they're going to throw it to. Because Nico's not going to be back till next week, I think. No. So, I think the offensive struggles for this Texans, the perceived offensive struggles in this game is what is keeping the Jets as that small favorite.
Yeah, on a neutral field, I have the Texans as a 3-point favorite.
Okay. That makes sense. Up next, we have 2 5-3 teams, the Ravens and the Broncos. Craig, break it down for us.
The easy answer here is to take the Ravens off a loss. But 2 of Baltimore's losses were when they were huge favourites. The Raiders and the Browns, I think they were like 9.5 points and 8.5 points. And we saw sharp money for Cleveland at the weekend. It feels like Baltimore raised their game for the marquee matchups and take their eye off the prize on the lesser opponents.
Yeah.
It's a big stretch coming for Baltimore. They've got the Bengals, the Steelers, the Eagles, and the Steelers again over the next 7 weeks. That determines the division, basically. Denver have only got 1 notable win against Tampa Bay. Their 4 other wins were against the Jets, the Raiders, the Saints, and the Panthers. That screams marquee.
That's fair.
It's a lot of points, but I think the Ravens win by $1 billion.
By $1 billion.
$1 billion.
I like that. Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. I think we're going to see if this Bo Nix is real because, again, he's only beaten up on lower competition. So this is, is that Ravens defense great? No. Like their pass rush is way different than it was last year. But we're going to find out. And I think this Ravens offense, they could just score at will. It's going to be a really good matchup on either side of the ball where, this Broncos defense is pretty good, but again, it's against lower competition. So we're really going to find out, but I really do tend to lean Ravens. I think the Ravens offensively are really good, and I think Bo Nix just looks good against bad teams, and this is not a bad team.
Right. Okay, arguably the game of the week with the 6-2 Green Bay Packers hosting the 6-1 Detroit Lions. Craig, what should we look for here?
This is only the third divisional game in the NFC North.
Wow.
So, which is quite surprising so late in the season. And I think the AFC North is pretty similar as well. I don't think the Steelers have played a single divisional game yet. This feels like the winner of this becomes the owner of the crown for the division, basically. The Vikings have come back to reality. A lot of this game comes down to the weather. It will be very wet. Maybe if there's thunderstorms in the area, which I think there was, the game might get delayed, which kind of takes the total out of the question. And Jordan Love's availability. He left the game injured last week. And then when you look at common opponents, they've all played the Rams, the Cardinals, the Titans, and the Vikings. The Pack lost the Vikings by exactly the same score as the Lions beat the Vikings, which is 31-29, which is not the most common score.
Yeah.
So the Lions have a 14-point differential in those common opponents. And they're just scoring points at will.
Right.
So easily the game of the week. I have no opinion on it.
No opinion after all of those facts? You got me believing in the Lions here after that.
It's really the Packers of whether Jordan Love's going to play. And the coach is really not doing anybody's favors because he's holding it close to his chest. This was a pick game, look ahead last week. It's now at 3.5, so it went all the way up to 4. So it's kind of leaning towards, at least that we think Jordan Love's going to play. But, yeah, without Jordan Love, I think we saw Malik Willis. He's a decent enough. But against this competition, against the Lions, where you have to keep up with the Lions. Like, you have to score. So for me, I think really lean the Lions here because I don't think Jordan Love's going to play. I think it's kind of just a smokescreen that they're putting up. So,
right. Okay, Sunday Night Football, we have Colts, Vikings. Like we just mentioned, Colts announcing Flacco as their starter definitely changes things a little. Vikings coming off of a couple losses. What should we expect from this matchup?
Yeah, this is going to be a good game. Again, we see Joe Flacco in this matchup. Is that the best decision? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, but they think they want to win now, so they really want to come out in this game. And we saw the line go down once that was announced, saying that Joe Flacco is the better quarterback in this spot. And it's probably true for on a game-by-game basis, not looking at the future-wise. Vikings coming off the mini-bye after losing to the Rams. They really want to get right in this spot. You got T.J. Hawkinson coming back, likely his first debut of the season since that ACL injury last year. Like I said, this was my upset. I really lean the Colts. I think this is really when the Vikings kind of get exposed.
And they have been. Yeah, that secondary hasn't looked great. The panic button's been pressed on both teams. The quarterback change in Indianapolis, the defensive issues in Minnesota. So when they went 5-0, they averaged 15 points a game. The Rams and the Lions absolutely exposed the secondary, and Brian Flores is a great coach. I loved him in Miami.
Right.
And I think he's a great defensive coordinator. I think they'll get right. It's a tough game to call. Every Colts game has been decided by one score or less. Makes you think the 5.5 is a touch of value.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally, our Monday Night Football matchup, we have the Bucs versus the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs.
Your overrated team.
My most overrated team. Do they finally get a loss here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they get the loss here. I think it's just, the wide receiver struggles for Tampa Bay. I mean, I love watching Baker. Baker's just a fun guy to watch. But I just think, again, I think it's going to be a lower scoring game because I don't think the Chiefs are going to be very good explosively on offense, just kind of like how they have been. So I can't doubt Mahomes. He's just going to win games.
Do we know if Mike Evans is going to be back for this?
I think he's still out indefinitely. Is what he's saying, yeah.
The Bucs defense has given up almost 100 points more than the Chiefs this year.
Yeah.
Yet the Chiefs can't score 30 points, but the Bucs have done it 4 times, if I remember rightly. So if the Bucs can score 30 points, there's your upset of the week. Tampa have beat some really, really good teams. They beat the Commanders, they beat the Lions, and they beat the Eagles. On the flip side, the Chiefs have let teams hang around. 5 of their wins have been 1 score or less. Granted, the Raiders was 1 score, but the game was over.
Raiders should
no,
have been
so they didn't. Sorry, they didn't cover, did they? They had the chance.
They had the chance.
They had the chance, yeah.
9.5 seems a lot of points for me. There could be
Agreed.
some weather involved, so I think the under's the value.
Yeah, the under's value, sure.
All right, well, let's get into our weekly game picks. Do we have a leaderboard right now?
The leaderboard says I'm about to book the reservation at the
Yeah, that might be the case.
Yeah.
yeah. Harlow's getting a call soon because that's going to
Thank
be an
God.
expensive dinner. I'm not mathematically out of it yet, but
Yeah.
think of it this way. I've picked 12 losers and 4 winners. That's a great record.
Yeah. It'd be a heck of a comeback story. Hope it doesn't happen. Craig, do you want to start us off?
First of all, it's the Breeders' Cup this weekend. We dropped a 6-1 winner last year. We're going the same route again. Charlie Appleby, and we're going to go Cinderella's Dream for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf.
Okay.
Joey, do not back it. I do not want you stopping my horse.
I'll be mushing for sure.
College, we're going to stick with your dogs. So we're going to go Syracuse +4.
Oh.
And I'm taking the Bucs plus the points.
I like it. Joey?
1-1 last week. Obviously, that got the CLV champ. The Commanders went from 43 to 46, still went under. So this week, I'm going to go with the total that I like. Really, that Pitt SMU over 58.5. On the NFL side, I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons against the Cowboys -2.5.
Ooh, I like it. I've gone back and forth this week on my college pick, but I think I'm going to go Ohio State, Penn State, first half under.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know. I'm
Where
there.
did you get that from?
Yeah, Craig slipped
I'm always pulling.
post-it note.
I know. I'm pulling a Craig.
Yeah, it said the over.
And I'm going to tail Craig with the Bucs to cover over the Chiefs. But this is nothing new for me.
Have you seen my record?
I know, but I was going to pick that before you said it. So,
Okay.
and I'm a believer in your picks this week.
Somebody has to be.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, that will do it for this week's episode of Talking with Our Traders. Guys, anything to say before we end this episode?
No, we're already halfway there.
Halfway there.
It's crazy. Goes
Yep.
by so
Flies
fast. but
by.
Good luck this weekend.
Yeah.
Good luck. All right, bye.